New York, I actually don't live in New York, but I'm going to Albany because I think New York can lead the way. In fact, I think New York can lead the world. Now, there's a thing though, having said that about the world, is that actually the local townships have power to restrict gas drilling. In New York, you have quite a lot of power. And if I may, I would like to recommend you look at the Highland Concerned Citizens. If you know about Highland Concerned Citizens, they're way ahead of the curve. They're way ahead of the curve on zoning. Now, zoning sounds boring, and it really, I mean, when I started looking at zoning, my eyes started crossing. This is fascinating, though. If you get into it, it's fascinating, and you can really get down into the weeds, and there are ways to actually restrict it in New York like crazy. So if you could figure out, just look up Highland Concerned Citizens in Google, okay? You'll find them. They are already, they've got Helen Slotchie's method they're trying to put through. They're putting a moratorium in to make sure that their ordinance is taken care of before the drilling starts. It's a very important thing. Having said that, in Pennsylvania, we are behind the 8 ball because, of course, Pennsylvania law, and we've got this awful governor. And I've got a thing called Honesdale Concerned Citizens, which basically I'm trying to translate the New York law over to Pennsylvania using the same principles of the Helen Slotchie's method, basically. And you can look at that on Google, you know, Honesdale Concerned Citizens, okay? There you go.
That's a great point. And right in a row, Mark mentioned the Frack Act. That's on the federal level. And Wes mentioned what's happening at the state level. And this is what could happen at the local level. I don't want to get Andy Boyer in too much trouble, but they had a great meeting. It was Lumberland and Highland had a joint meeting about potentially pursuing these kind of local zoning ordinances that wouldn't specifically target oil and gas, because you can't do that, because you don't have home rule when it comes to oil and gas, but you can target industrial zoning.
That's right. High impact industrial use.
That's right. So take over your town board. Some of you might have an easier time doing that than others.
We're right, we're 24% second homes here. 1 in 4 homes in Sullivan County is a second home. You're allowed to vote from here. If you live in New York State, you don't need to vote in New York City. You need to get all your neighbors to vote up here. Jill's absolutely right. We have elections in every town this year, and our entire legislature is up for election. Get your neighbors to register and vote from Sullivan County, Delaware County, and so on. Very, very important. This is where it's happening. It's not happening in New York. We don't have to worry about New York.
Who called you a terrorist? Is that true? That little flash article, somebody called you a terrorist?
Pennsylvania Homeland Security. Do you want to say what happened with that? Do you know?
Pennsylvania Homeland Security was monitoring gas land screenings in New York and on the PA side. I happened to be hosting some of them. It leaked out that they were doing this. Governor Rendell had to make an apology, a formal apology. The guy for Homeland Security in PA lost his job. Fox News picked it up, and somehow my name got attached to it. And it went from Pennsylvania's Homeland Security to that I was on the no-flies list as a terrorist. And it's pretty much utterly bullshit. So that's that story.
Okay, right in there.
Right? We're a Gas Drilling Awareness Coalition. We are the terrorists. We filed a lawsuit against Homeland. Draw your line in the sand. Stay your ground. Don't go back. Don't go back. Stand your ground.
Coach Craig Stevens, Silver Lake Township, PA. These are my neighbors, the Sautners, 8 miles away. I'm the guy in the movie there. Chesapeake signed my grandmother at 95 years old in a nursing home to a 10-year, $135 an acre lease. They forgot one thing. When you trace my lineage, it goes to Edinburgh, Scotland, Alexander Graham Bell, and the William Wallace legend. When I spoke with Marty Bird on the phone a week and a half ago, he said, "Can you quit bad-mouthing Chesapeake at these public events?" I said, "What are you talking about, Marty?" He said, "We've recorded your voice at the last 10 of them. Would you like to hear what you said?" I said, "I know what I said, Marty." I said, "You need to go home." You know, I'm getting tired of these guys pushing us around. See that document right there? That's the Constitution of the United States. The minute you were born or became naturalized in the U.S., That is the only contract that I'm going to honor with these guys, and it has my individual right to kick their asses right out of the state. So keep fighting, do not give up. I took them on head on, and I won against Chesapeake Energy. Anybody can win against these guys. When you throw the rock, their knees will buckle, and it's time for us all to jump on and get rid of them.
Well, we all obviously put lots of time into it, and let me address this directly. On April 14th, we'll be in Cooper Union. There are a whole bunch of tickets out there. It's a free event. It's the beginning of a major fundraising campaign. We're calling it Water Aid USA, and it's going to lead us into one of the biggest theaters in New York City. We're going to do that to raise funds for the legal team and the scientists and the various components of our work. So that's being addressed. We spend all of us probably spend well over half of our time on that. So that's happening, fundraising. And as I said, we have now major benefactors who are beginning to understand the urgency and the historic nature of this effort. And let me just also, while we have everyone here, so on April 14th, we'll be in Cooper Union. I spoke this week with Amy Goodman, with Yoko Ono's assistant, the Manhattan Borough President, and we'll have quite a group. And Reverend Billy will sing Waterlooia. But let me remind everybody that the most important day really is the next day, is the final day for the DRBC comments. Please, everyone should make at least 10 comments. Every one of us needs to make 10 comments and have those comments in by April 15th. Because when it comes to this issue, we've heard about New York, and there are these political and policy dynamics. And then we've heard about Pennsylvania, and there are these policy dynamics. But here in the Upper Delaware watershed, which includes the entire New York City watershed, it's like a 51st state when it comes to this issue. And it's not a NIMBY thing. We can win here because there are so many layers of protection, and we must win here. So April 15th, get those comments to the DRBC. And April 14th, we'll be in Cooper Union with Water Aid. So, Peter, is there anything else that you'd like to address?
I'm going to make just a couple more remarks. Inspiration for tonight was Skydog Supper Club. The town of Tustin started gatherings back at the Tustin Town Hall many months ago. Once a month, every Saturday. Come on up. And they have a spectacular supper club coming up in May. And
hi, I'm Andrea Reynosa, and I'm Bird Trees. We founded the Sky Dog Supper Club in Narrowsburg as a way to create a forum like this, having a potluck and music and conversation. And I think Pete Comstock and everybody here at Lumberland and Highly Concerned Citizens has done a phenomenal job getting this together. I really commend the panel that was here, and I'm working with Pat Grillo on Water Aid. So make it down to New York City, and let's celebrate our pure water, all right? Thank you.
Thank you.